So, good evening, my dear friends. Thanks for joining for the last session. We have been discussing so much about the archetypes in the morning, and then we came down to this air crash exercise, and you all made presentations. Now, we are going to relate all these things together. Why there was such a big discussion about archetypes, why there was such a big exercise, and why should we discuss about somebody. Now, what we are going to do is some of the leadership styles. And by the way, this is video recorded. All these kinds of demonstrations and the therapy videos are going to be video recorded, and voice will be separately recorded. And back in the guest house, I will make the editing, and tomorrow or by day after, you will get all the links for the videos in my official YouTube channel. You can download that, keep them safe, and whenever you need it, you can always refer back. All right. So now, this is my first intervention, the leadership styles. And when we are discussing about the leadership style, after each leadership style, you got to identify and tell me who is under that category of leadership style from that particular case study that we had. So, for example, autocratic leadership. This is the first leadership. So, we are having these kinds of leadership styles like autocratic, bureaucratic, charismatic, democratic, laissez-faire, people-oriented, and the like. Each of you here got at least 3 leadership styles resonated within you. Whether it is a positive or negative one, that's a different story altogether, but each of you have got your own leadership styles. What we are going to arrive is just like we arrived at a consensus in the morning about the archetypes, we are going to have a proper consensus arrived in our leadership styles. It's going to be a very simple formula, my dear friends. You identify proper archetype, you identify proper leadership style, you put that together, you will be automatically coming to a conclusion who will be the better leader in that case, in that air crash case. And whatever conclusion that we arrive, we try to live that in our life in the school campus, so that our children will be very much prospered. For instance, if we take this autocratic leadership style, we have a very big kind of argument, and some people mentioned, I think it was Max sir who mentioned in the morning, he said there is a level of ruler archetype required. Totally agree with that. But autocratic leadership style these days works really very effectively, because here the followers will have only less things to express about. The follower comes and says that, sir, I am very depressed, I am committing suicide. The leader says, congratulations on your decision, 1 o'clock, finish my report, and then you commit your suicide. He's not pretty okay with the concern about the leaders, concern about the subordinates. He gives very, very less concern about the subordinates. That's a very unfortunate thing. But you know what? The result will be crystal clear. The result will be crystal clear. Because of the threat, my dear friends, because of the emotional outburst that could bring, the person will work. But as far as having the affinity towards the boss, well, that's going to be 0. You will not like the boss, but work will be done. But you know, the boss, he will say, who cares whether he likes me or not? I want the work to be done, that's it. That is autocratic leadership. We like it or we don't like it, but unfortunately, India contains 69% of autocratic leaders in all business propositions. 69%. Can you believe it? 69%. Do you have any autocratic person in that case? Air crash exercise. Rajdat, Captain Sundar, Mary, Shantilal, Rohit, Saxena, Amar, Arjun. Do you have any autocratic leader in that? Give it a rest. Keep thinking. All of a sudden, your mind will trigger out that. Throw it out then. Okay? I don't want to force. Now, second leadership style. Bureaucratic leadership style. They go by the book. We saw the orphan archetype in the morning. So, they are pretty much similar to this bureaucratic leadership style imbibing. Sometimes you try to trigger out your suggestions, and people are willing to accept your suggestions, but they say they have got their preconceived notion into their mind, and they literally oppose your points of view, stating that it is not going to work out because I tried that in the past, that didn't work out. So what is the assurance that you are going to give that it is going to work out right now? They are very much worried about the risks, they are very much worried about the inefficiency, and ineffectiveness. But work will be done properly. They are old school in nature. They are not as stringent as autocratic leaders, but they are old school. And they have their own ways and means of getting things done. Basically nice people, basically good, but they are old school. Third, do you get remembered of any names for autocratic leadership and bureaucratic leadership in the case study? Bureaucratic leaders? Ajit. So, in your opinion, sir? Right, right. Thanks that sir is giving a realistic scenario. I really appreciate that. And in this air crash case study, if I ask you to find out a bureaucratic or autocratic leader, can you identify someone? Indra is a bureaucratic leader, sir? Okay. Right. So he gave two realistic examples of bureaucratic leader. So I go with the example. I really appreciate your two examples, sir. That's correct. Again, I'm saying, okay, so just like sir mentioned, you can give some realistic examples also, but at the same time, I want you to have a predominant focus on the case study because we need to arrive at a consensus. Where do you think Mary is? Bureaucratic leader? Autocratic leader? Who's Caesar? Bureaucratic or autocratic? Bullseye. Bullseye. Captain Sundar is a bureaucratic leader. Charismatic leader is a person who is really good in terms of the personality. You're right. You're right. Martin Luther King. Exactly. Great examples. Bill Clinton again. The point is, my dear friends, people will not be able to work with their absence. They always need the kind of jolting motivation by looking at the person. And the person's absence is definitely going to get the results being brought down. If that is the case, then is it a good leadership? That is my question. Work has to be done besides the fact whether the leader is present or not. So, charismatic leadership is a positive one. India produced a lot of charismatic leaders, but for getting the work done, we need to seriously think about it. Do we have any charismatic leader in our case study? Assam air crash exercise? Mary is a charismatic leader. Rohit is a charismatic leader. Actor, Rohit is a charismatic leader. Okay, right. We'll come back. So far, you have mentioned Rohit, Captain Sundar and Mary. And the leadership styles that you have affiliated with these three individuals are not very positive ones. So unfortunately, we have to keep all these people in the waiting list. Captain Sundar, Mary and Rohit. My personal favorite, democratic and participative leadership. Whatever you ask, you're given. Sir, I need more money. Take it. I need more people. Take it. I need more time. Take it. But the biggest weakness is that this person can be taken advantage of. They can take it for granted. Take him or her for granted. So basically speaking, a democratic leader is always like a friend. He can be approached. A person who does not call himself as a leader. A person who does not label himself as the supreme man. You want to be a leader? Come on, go ahead with it. No problem. I want only the objective to be completed. Ma'am? No, Mary has already been connected with charismatic leadership. She's out already. Smart. Come back again. What is it? Indra can be democratic leader because Indra says, give me a chance. So keep Indra on acceptance list, please. Alright? Democratic leader says, you want more money, whatever the resources, take it. This morning I spoke about resourcefulness. Democratic people are resourceful leaders, my dear friends. That's very important. So Indra, acceptance list. There's one more democratic leader. You have not identified. Saxena is a democratic leader. Saxena is a democratic leader. He does not want himself to be called as a leader. And he says, Saxena. Now you have started saying no Saxena, not Saxena. Because for the whole day you have been voting for Saxena. Now when you are supposed to vote for Saxena, you are not voting for Saxena. Wait. I didn't say Saxena is going to be convictive. He will be into the other leadership style as well. Wait for it. Saxena and Indra are into democratic, my dear friends. Give the job, forget it. Exactly. Give the job, forget it. Laissez-faire. I don't care whether you do it or not, but I will be the leader. No change. Whether you do it or not, I don't care. Shantilal is in a very tough position, sir. I will explain later. Politician you mentioned. Ramkishan. Okay. Ma'am? We did not speak about Ramkishan so much, so let us skip it. Laissez-faire is also not a leadership that requires a lot of time. So let's move on to the next one. People-oriented leadership and relations-oriented leadership. We saw the lover this morning as an archetype and a person who is giving more importance for the relationship. Do we really have a person in this case study? I don't think so. Who is giving more importance to relationship in this case study? There is nobody. But this leadership style is very effective in some cases. Where a family business is run, relationship-oriented leadership is going to really bring the results in flying colors. Indra falls into relationship-oriented leadership as well. Because Indra says, I can befriend anybody as a leader. And ma'am asked a question, will that be causing a problem because people can manipulate her? So Indra falls into this also. But it doesn't take her away from the acceptance list. But Indra has got other dimensions. So people-oriented leaders and relationship-oriented leaders are very much affiliated towards relationships. J.R.D. Tata. Okay. That's an interesting thing. Why does your mind think about Arjun when we speak about people-oriented? But ma'am, there is no relationship established between Arjun and his clients. It is only the official methodology. Okay. Right. No, your judgmental thinking is really nice. I really appreciate that. But a counselor is not establishing any relationship, but this is purely about relationship. Right? Clinical. See, here people-oriented, I don't want you to confine yourself along with people-oriented alone. People-oriented and relationship-oriented. Right, involving. Saxena can be named, but he is not very much into establishing the relationship and having people harmonizing. He believes in teamwork. Teamwork, we have got separate ones, sir. In that case, democratic leadership style is basically Saxena's style. Any other question? Follower comes and says that I was not able to finish the task. And the leader says, koi baat nahi, I'll do it. Don't worry. And another person comes and says, look, the time is very, very less. I will not be able to do it. What do you say? No problem. I'll take it. No sort of strictness or stringentness, and the person is like a servant. And the person does not have any sort of leadership mantle. The person is really having the title as a leadership style, but the person does not appear as a leader. That is called as servant leadership. Mary comes resembling to that. We don't have any other contrasting person in this case study coming into the servant leadership because everybody is fighting for the right. But servant leadership we don't have. task oriented. Super. There are 3 people in task oriented. Vincent is obviously one. I would like to... Smart ma'am. Yeah. Rajdat, of course, yeah. That's what ma'am is also saying. Rajdat, Amar, Vincent, task oriented. Vincent is a programmed mechanism, my dear friends. You go and speak about anything else, the person comes swiveling away and he comes back to the same position. Come on, think about this. Focus. Amar is also, please give me a chance. Please give me a chance. You slap him, please give me a chance. I've been having my bad experience. Why don't you give me the chance? Focus. Rajat, you give me a chance or not. I will be taking my chance because I know what to do. Task oriented. Yeah. Correct. So, he is worried about only the task and he does not worry about how leadership is been emerging and all those flowery stuff. He's not into the theory. He's only worried about the task. Now, my next question is, can we include task-oriented leaders as good leaders in this case? Can we accept? Can we accept Vincent? Okay. There are much better options of leadership styles. Further, maybe after listening to that, I think you might be reviving your decision, but still if you are sticking to the decision, that's good. Next leadership style is a very important one. Even during the break, I was talking to Dr. Kuljit sir about this and my friend Danny also about this. Transaction leadership, my dear friends. Very simple, straightforward. You work, I will appreciate. You don't work, I will punish you. You work, I will appreciate. You don't work, I will punish you. A person who can be very humorous at any time, at the same time a person who can be tough. Shantilal is a transaction leader. I love transaction leadership. You know when to play, you know when to work. And I was appreciating Kuljit sir in front of everybody. I would like to conspicuously admit that I see transaction leadership style in Kuljit sir. That was the merit I was giving to him. So because transaction leaders say that if you are working, good. I can put your arm around. Most of the IT companies in India are using transaction leadership. They will be having the Saturday night parties and they will be having equality over there. The next day morning something vulnerable happens and you will find the memo on your desk. Your services are no longer required. So you work well, I'll give you reward. You don't work well, I'll punish you. Shantilal comes into this. Mohinder Singh comes into this. You're cool, I'm cool. You try to show attitude, then you are really triggering my violent temper. And poor team had got a lot of questions about that and they were really having the defense mechanism on that. Good job. So, bring Mohinder Singh and Shantilal to the acceptance list. How many people are we having in acceptance list so far? How many people are we having in acceptance list so far? No, we haven't spoken about Saxena because Saxena falls into a different segment. Shantilal, Indra and Mohinder Singh. Now, perhaps most of our teachers here are falling in this leadership style that we are going to see. It's my desire too. If you had noticed MS Dhoni, you and me might have problems with his attitude. I have lots of reservations about his attitude. But never in this 11 years I have seen MS Dhoni coming into the front and carrying the trophy and jumping like monkey. Once he wins, he allows the other people to celebrate and he goes back. A transformation leader doesn't tap his chest stating that I am the leader, I am the leader. A transformation leader does a lot of background work behind the screens. The person counsels, the person communicates, the person finds the best into an individual. The person tries to induce the person to understand what the person is actually good of. Communicates well. Communication. And one important thing I really like in them is visible, spend a lot of time communicating. Don't necessarily lead from the front and they tend to delegate the responsibility amongst their team. And the leader who inspires his or team, constantly the person goes with a shared vision. Here we get Saxena. That is why I told you, for your question. I will answer during your preparation time. I will not answer now. I will answer only in the afternoon. This is where Saxena falls. Saxena is a person who does not want to be called as a leader. He wants to work at the back. Just like you are working in this school when you are trying to induce a child to come to its best prominent position. You are already doing that. That's a good news. Transformation leadership has got its own aura, my dear friends. But you know what is the curse of transformation leadership? It is very thankless. You put all your hard work and it is very thankless. But the transformation leader does not say that who cares for the thanks. I mean, I don't need any laurel. As John Maxwell in his book, Leadership, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, he says, a person who does not look for the laurels will always get the laurels. The person who always looks for the laurels will never get laurels. So transformation leader is a person who always keeps things behind. Finish the job, go back silently, and don't claim your name that you have done that, you have done that. So Saxena comes into this. In a way, Shantilal again makes a revisit here. Because Shantilal's profile read that being used to commanding and coordinating, he built up a big business empire. So Shantilal comes here. Saxena, Indra, Mohinder Singh. These people share these three leadership styles. Transactional leadership style, transformation leadership style, and democratic leadership style. And by the moment of having these leadership styles, this is going to be the fleet of leaders marching with the other co-survivors. Yeah, as they mentioned, task-oriented leadership can be mentioned. But here, more than Shantilal, more than Saxena, more than Indra, nobody has got that particular niche or this kind of agility to come and guide the other people to survive. Because it's a matter of survival. It is not about fixing up a target and winning profits. It's a matter of survival. Because of the simple reason. We have, and this is another one, situational leadership. Right from the morning, we have been speaking about these two schools of thoughts, archetypes and leadership styles. Now we are having a proper amalgamation of archetype and leadership styles. Autocratic leadership style, ruler archetype. Democratic leadership style, the hero archetype. Bureaucratic leadership style, the orphan archetype. Situational leadership style, the magician archetype. Laissez-faire leadership style, the person keeps on searching something, explorer archetype. Transformation leadership style, the sage archetype. Servant leadership style, the caregiver archetype. Here in this jungle, we are not looking for caregiver. Transaction leadership style, the creator archetype. Charismatic leadership style, the rebel archetype. People-oriented leadership style, caregiver again, and task-oriented leadership style, sometimes worrying only about the task and not involving in something else. So it is an innocent paradigm. So, hero, democratic, creator, sage, transformation leadership, all put together. Whichever person has got these combinations are the leaders. Now leave Shantilal, leave Mohinder Singh, leave Vincent and all that. Let's talk about you. You've been doing a wonderful job in the school for the past years. You only know how many years you have served for the school. It's a wonderful news that you have been using all these things without even having the terminology knowledge of all this. Now knowing this, you are going to master these skills even more. I bet, my dear friends, the children are liking only these leadership styles and these archetypes that we have discussed and we have arrived at a consensus for. They like creators, they like heroes, they like caregivers, they like sage, they like magician. They like transformation leadership style, they like democratic leadership style, and they like transaction leadership style. So if you have got those 6 archetypes and if you have got those 3 leadership styles, you're one among the best teachers. You bet. So I wanted this particular paradoxical thinking imposed into your mind. So this entire day was designed only for that purpose. So hope you now understand why this archetypes discussion, case study, discussion, presentation, and now this leadership style discussion are happening. Yes, ma'am? Your first ever leadership style was given by your middle school teacher. Because crossing the kindergarten, when you come to the middle school, that is where OG happens. OG stands for opinion generation. A kindergarten student comes and asks, what is this? And you say as a parent, that is train. Beautiful. What is this? That is bus. Beautiful. And when the kindergarten student gets transferred to the middle school, the same little kid comes and asks you, what is this? Train. Why the hell it is going on 2 tracks? And why bus is not going on the 2 tracks? What happens here? What is the difference? Opinion starts getting generated. So when the OG stage comes, that's where all the hell breaks loose. If the OG stage comes, and if you are not giving a proper guidance, the person is going to be misled. Have you ever read about the level of psycho stages? Sigmund Freud mentions the oral stage, the anal stage, the phallic stage likewise. Oral stage, my dear friends, when a child is not allowed to put the teether into the mouth, when the senses are supposed to be there, and if you are putting lots of control against it, that child is going to lie in the future. That child, when it grows up, it's going to make lots of stealing. And in the future, he will be also a thief. Because he was suffering from oral fixation. Anal fixation. Anal stage is the next stage where, when you are not giving a proper training of how to be clean, that person is going to be super phobic and the person is going to suffer from anal fixation. Have you ever noticed somebody always cleaning up the desk again and again and again? Putting the books, and again in another 2 days time, taking the books, cleaning it again and putting the books back together. Why? You go and ask, why? Because that's the way I am. That is called as the person has been suffering from anal fixation, and the disease the person is suffering from is anal retention. The other way is also possible. The person's table will be completely messy, just like what you are seeing my table here. Completely messy. Because the person was suffering from anal fixation as well. Not on a momentary basis. If you are in a business, and if you are a teacher, and if your table is all going to be on a messy way, it means you were also having a fixation. So, all this fixation kinds of things happen only during the middle school stage. And middle school stage is the place where leadership is born. And just like Rajdat mentions, leaders are not made, they are born. It's actually a wrong thing. Leaders are made. At one point of time, there was one teacher in your higher secondary section stating that this leadership style is not good. Why don't you behave in that way? So, emergence happens in the middle school way, but the erection and the kinds of alteration in the leadership style happens in the higher secondary. But we are not born with those. Does it answer your question, ma'am? So, what kind of leadership style you have when somebody comes and criticizes you? What you did is completely wrong. Okay, now taking stock. Before the break, we had a little bit of an activity. The 4 states of mind. So, I will ask someone, I will point out a person. You have to tell what the other people came and told you. Specifically, the 2 things. What is the scope of improvement that you have to develop? I will start with sir. So, could you please come over here, sir, and tell all of us, what did you receive? It's not about what did you give. Tell us what did you receive. Some 4 or 3 people would have definitely spoke to you. Come on, sir.
On the last element, that I need to speak more.
You need to speak more. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Answer from there. So, ma'am, what's the mean, ma'am? What did you receive? He said, speak more.
I got some advice just now.
Yeah.
Speak less.
Okay.
To do my work on time, I procrastinate a lot.
Is that real?
True.
I see. Okay. Right.
I do that.
So, and when you gave to somebody else, you did not mention the person, but what kind of suggestion that you made?
That's a difficult one.
That's a difficult one. You don't remember. Okay, right. So, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, so, Pooja, ma'am. Okay. Speak a little less. Alright. Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay, right. That was clinical observation. Good. I really appreciate that. Now my question is, when you had, okay, 3 individuals now honestly agreed. I'm so much thankful for your candid expression. Speak more, speak less, and try to help more. When somebody comes and criticizes like that, maybe in this exercise, you were very nice and you spoke on a very cordial basis. But when someone comes and tells you on the face that you are really weak in this, you need to improve upon that. With what leadership style you are going to face that situation? Tell me that trigger out leadership style that you are supposed to have in that situation. I'm your colleague. All of a sudden I come there and I look into your eyes and say that, ma'am, what you're doing is really wrong. It is weird on your part. You got to really change that. Otherwise you are definitely going to pay for it. Some sort of aggression, and this is a very bad and harsh way to say that. And if I say that, there are people like that, right? So sometimes outside also. So when you face that kind of a thing, when you encounter that kind of a problem, with what leadership style you will be coming across that? Because there your emotion is being tested. Come on. Sir? Wow. What a fabulous way of looking at it, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's really handsome. Good. Any other view? That requires a lot of maturity. That's what sir says. Yeah, lots of maturity and lots of emotional intelligence. Right. Any other view? Okay. So, if you are a transformation leader, you'll be viewing just like what the professor mentioned, the sir mentioned. If you're a transaction leader, you'll go for a wrestle and tussle. How dare you say that? Do you really mean it? Seriously? All that happens. If you are a charismatic leader, that's going to touch upon your ego. You know who I am? What the other people think? Do you have really any idea what the other people think? So it touches upon the ego. But if you're a transformational leader, oh, you really think so? Right. So I came across one particular statement. Dr. Wayne Dyer used to return replies for the letters he received for his book. Okay. There is a wonderful book written by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Change Your Thoughts and Change Your Life. So one person writes very positively and he gives a return. Thank you. You may be right. Thank you. You may be right. And there is another kind of criticism. What a kind of a book you have written. Are you nuts? So I haven't expected this kind of a book from you. I have wasted 355 rupees of mine. Thank you. You may be right. Simple. And even more harsh things come. And when Dyer's wife asks, this person was very hard on you. Does it not really hurt your ego? It does. Then what do? How do you handle it? He says, I use 4 words. And that 4 words keeps me going. What are those 4 words? So what? What next? So what? What next? So what? What next? I come and say that you have literally failed, besides all the hard work you have literally failed. I told you in the beginning that you are going to get failed. You never listened to me. Now face it. The person goes away. You tell yourself, so what? What next? I got a fracture and I will not be able to operate properly for the next 6 months. So what? What next? I put all my effort. Besides that, it was such a big fiasco. So what? What next? This is what a transformation leader does. Alright? So transformation leadership has got so much of content. So that's why. Sorry? Correct. So this is what I wanted to drive in your mind. And we would be having a clinical tool for it. So far, whatever you have been listening is a theory. And we are going to get into a practical tool. And tomorrow morning, the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to have a demonstration on a particular psychotherapy called as the 3-picture technique and the 3-finger technique. So, I will be demonstrating. First of all, I will be explaining those 2 therapies. That will be video recorded. And then, I will be demonstrating that on you. You will be facing it. All the lights will be off. And I will be using the voice guidance methodology. And you will literally face that. Those 2 therapies are going to be our first agenda because I had that agenda right now in the evening, but it is been pushed tomorrow. So, those 2 things are definitely going to help you out to garnish your leadership more. alter your archetype on a much easier fashion. So today I have told you this and this. Tomorrow I am going to give you the tool for making the transformation positively happening. Okay? So on that note, I would like to tell you that you have been a fabulous crowd right from the morning, and it is always a very gracious thing to accept a trainer from some other state and some other part of the nation, and not everywhere people will be gracious like you. So there were people at my hometown, they said that you are going to face problems, and I stuck my neck out and said that I will prove who I am and they will understand who I am. But the first day very much obviously says that I think I have made the right statement with those people. So thank you so much for that. I really, literally give you a thanks. Because my talent was not questioned. And with the level of your eyes and with the level of the body language, I was able to read that mostly I have got positive feedback. And it is not easy to deal with teachers when you are not prepared properly. They will bulldoze you, because in faculty development program, you got to be very, very careful. Alright. So I did my hard work, and I hope that I have done enough justice for making you think. And tomorrow, I will be doubling up this. You will be having double opinion of this, because tomorrow we are having plenty of therapies to have. Alright. So thank you so much. I thank my dad who has given this blessing, and I rest my case. Meet you tomorrow morning, my dear friends. Thank you so much.
Because we lost some time.
Yeah, 8:50.
Okay, tomorrow we will meet at 8:30 and not 9. Because